This is going to be a video about the Safdie brothers. If you haven't seen the films Heaven Knows What, Good Time, or Uncut Gems, please return at a later time, as this has some spoilers in it. The Safdie brothers are a filmmaking duo who hail from the likes of Queens, New York. Josh and Benny Safdie started their filmmaking careers by co-directing 2007's The Pleasure of Being Robbed, and their second feature-length film, Daddy Longlegs, which was released in 2009, which interestingly was produced by none other than YouTube legend Casey Neistat. They also later did their first and only documentary about a former basketball prospect, Lenny Cook, whom at one point was ranked higher than LeBron James. They started their own production company, teaming up with another native New Yorker, Sebastian Bear McClard, which you may know for having married supermodel Emily Ratajkowski. Alara Pictures was the name and has been their production company for their last few projects, which include Heaven Knows What, Good Time, and most recently Uncut Gems. Their films usually all take place around the parameters of New York City. They have been known to capture the dark and gritty nature of New York, almost capturing it like it's the 70s or early 80s. With modern gentrification and renovation, a lot of people believe that New York looks cleaner than ever. The Safdie brothers would argue with you. Being a native New Yorker myself from the Bronx, I can rightfully claim that their films capture the essence of New York at its truest form. Not to say that New York looks dirty or anything, but it's not as clean-cut and organized as you may believe. Their last three films have showcased the likes of homelessness, sociopathic behaviors, gambling, crime, and violence centered in New York City. Heaven Knows What tackles homelessness head-on and is not an easy watch. We are presented with the protagonist named Harley as she encounters other homeless individuals and attempts to get enough money for a ride to Miami. The interactions between characters in the movie is very realistic and almost comes across as if though the audience is watching a documentary instead of a narrative drama. Look at this scene, for example.
Let him try it to me right now. Where's he at? Man, where the fuck is he at? Where's my best friend? Have you seen Ilya? Have you seen him? Where is he? Where's Ilya? No. I don't got time for it right now. Where's Ilya? All right, well, hell went that way with Eric. Hell, all right, buddy? Whatever.
The main character is actually played by someone who was once homeless and drug addicted herself. Apparently, she had met with the Safdies on the streets of New York City and was interested in turning elements of her life into a movie. The film was a small one, but a very well crafted one. I probably wouldn't watch it again personally, but it's definitely worth a watch if you've never seen it yourself. After that movie, they went on to direct their next film, a little film entitled Good Time. Good Time is a film that I had tackled briefly on my channel a couple of years ago. It came out in 2017 and stars Robert Pattinson in the lead role as the anti-hero, sociopathic petty criminal Connie Nikas. The film takes place over a night on the run after dragging his mentally disabled brother to perform a bank robbery. He encounters other petty criminals and tries to raise money to bail his brother out of jail once he gets caught. He also commits more crimes as the story progresses. His story may be small in scale, but is rich in depth. The film really immerses you in the underground New York City life at its lowest form, from both a moral and aesthetic standpoint, while also tackling one of the most complex characters put to film in recent memory. He does some sick things in this movie, and I'm not talking about the good kind of sick. I'm talking about the bad type of sick.
Can you leave us alone, please?
Dude, why do I have handcuffs on?
Let's go down to your room. Shut the door. Shut the door. Close the door.
He doesn't even know that he is indeed the bad guy in the story. He believes he's better than everyone around him. He manipulates and condescends everyone, from his own brother, his girlfriend, and strangers that choose for some reason to help him.
I am better than you.
You're an ignorant fuck, bro. No one's better than any next man, all right? You don't know me from Adam.
The second you got here, went to the booze and you got fucked up, but that's fine.
So
That's just who you are. You're a fuck up. That's it. I don't care.
Okay,
whatever.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
give a shit.
You shouldn't give a shit. Who gives a shit? I definitely don't give a shit.
It really takes him being arrested at the very end to realize that he is the villain. After his accomplice falls out of a window and falls to his death, and his plan blows up in smoke, he has no other options. And while he is taken into custody, a powerful scene of him realizing, for the lack of a better word, that he's fucked or that it's all over occurs, leaving him staring into nothing because he has nothing left. Good Time was one of my favorite films of 2017. It was an undoubtedly unforgettable experience and anxiety-inducing one, which led me to anticipate their next project. I had known about Uncut Gems ever since I read an article about Adam Sandler signing on for the lead role in the next Safdie brothers project. It was something I had researched and was able to learn a little about. I saw pictures of Adam on set in full wardrobe and I already knew what they were going for. and it was going to be another gritty New York fast-paced drama. And that's just what it was. An anxiety-inducing, large-scale New York drama with some very comedic elements in it. It ended up being the only film I saw at this year's New York Film Festival. I was able to snag last-minute tickets and saw the premiere with the Safdies, the cast, and crew in attendance. The film follows the story of Howard Ratner, a jeweler in Manhattan's Diamond District. He has a massive gambling addiction, and instead of paying off his debts, he chooses to gamble the money because he simply cannot help himself. The entire movie is him escaping debt collectors, dealing with his wife, his girlfriend, his family, the weekend, and well, none other than Kevin Garnett himself, who actually has a surprisingly good performance in the movie. Again, like Good Time and Heaven Knows What, Safdies capture New York through their particular lens. They don't back down on the gritty nature of the Diamond District and showcase it in all of its glory. The Safdies like to cast people whom have lived the life, and it shows with a lot of their movies and characters. A lot of them can be typecasted as the same kind of roles, but the Safdies make sure to respect their characters and give them a good amount of screen time. As a fellow New Yorker, it's so New York, it's unreal. The Safdies even casted acclaimed sports radio host Mike Francesa as a bookie who interacts with Ratner. The introduction to up-and-comer Julia Fox is also worth the price of admission. She's great in the movie and proves herself alongside Adam Sandler. The film is the biggest Safdie brothers film yet, and is also set to become their largest box office film as well. Sandler is terrific in the role, and if I were an Academy voter, I would not exclude him from the race. He immerses himself in the role and is simply that good, especially coming off of Netflix duds and so many other critically failed films. It's really refreshing to see Adam in a role that actually challenges him, and I hope he continues to work with directors willing to give him good material, rather than sticking to low-rent comedies as he's been doing for the last decade. He's a good actor, and again proves why. The Safdies are directors who carefully craft their work. It's amazing how much they've been able to do, sticking true to their roots and making films about New Yorkers by New Yorkers. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you later.
Wrong. And it's seen through till its very end. And yes, it's kind of crazy and dark, but the very base of it sounds like a joke. It's so